Okay, this is Eric McLuhan, Director of Instruction at Applecross Golf Academy. And it's almost September, which means the winds are starting to pick up here at Applecross, which means everybody has to be ready for hitting a low shot. So I figured we'd take some time and go over the things that go into keeping a controlled flight. So here's my version of the knockdown shot here in our learning center. So I wanted to talk about the things that you can do to hit that shot. So number one is I would definitely choke down on the club. You can see that, right here, I went down on the shaft some, an inch or two. If you narrow up your stance a little bit, that would tend to make it easier to keep the ball down as well. And getting closer to the ball as well. The farther you get from the ball, the easier it is to hit it high. And the closer you get, you tend to hit it lower. So when I go through the shot here, you want to try to have your hands in front and really finish low and extend the right arm down through the shot and keep the club head down. Keep the follow through low as long as you can. So if we look at a couple tour players here, here's Tiger Woods in his traditional swing. And traditional follow through. Now if we look at one where he's trying to hit it lower, you'll find the club head stays down longer and it's a much more restricted follow through. Very important to understand. If you want to hit the ball low, then you need to finish low. You need to keep the club head down as long as you can. And no matter what club you have in your hand, it'll go lower. All right, now let's talk about ball position. Let's go back to myself. Because people like to talk about the different things that you can do, like moving the ball back in the stance. People need to realize that if you move the ball back in the stance, that golf club doesn't have time to square up. You can see how it's aiming to the right. And then as it has a little more time, as the ball is more forward, it has time to square up as it's rotating square and closed. So I would suggest to try to learn how to hit the ball lower without moving it back in the stance. Move it back in the stance in case of emergency if you have to hit it 2 feet off the ground. And that's certainly a good thing to have, a good skill to have, if you're going underneath a tree, or certainly back to what we were talking about is underneath the wind. Now let's get really close up. You can see how the club face is aimed to the right, but as it comes in, as the ball position is more forward, the club face has a chance to square up. So be careful of moving the ball back, because the tendency for the average golfer is to shove it out to the right, and if you don't play for that, you can get yourself in trouble. You can hit the ball lower, but it'll also tend to go to the right. So back to the things that are important. Having a little more grip showing there. Choking down on the club. Number one. The feet a little closer together. Narrower stance. And also getting a little closer to the ball. If you look at the length of the swing, if you can try to keep your hands below your shoulders Both sides. I think that would really help to keep the ball down. Like Mike Reynolds, I hear him say all the time, if it's breezy, try to swing easy. So I take that to heart. Don't try to get too much out of it. And if you go back to these follow-throughs, there's the Ernie Els to the left. Trying to keep the ball down, keep the hands in front, keep the shaft as low as you can for as long as you can. So the hands underneath the shoulders as long as you can. All right, everybody. This is Eric McLuhan, and I hope this helps. If you have any questions, give us a call at the golf school.